gag me, take me to the bunny ranch. People dying, kill me in the packing house. Even
Chili's baby back ribs, barbecue sauce.
We'd like to thank our sponsor, Chili's. Our sponsors, baby back ribs and barbecue sauce. Welcome to Bunny Airs. We're rich.
We're rich.
We have so many sponsors.
Barbecue sauce.
How goes it, man?
Fantastic. It was great.
My name is Matthew Cohen. You are?
Me? I am Kieran Culkin.
Kieran, you know what? I'm a big fan of your work.
Yeah, thank you.
You were spectacular in Scott Pilgrim.
Oh, thank you.
Welcome to Bunny Ears, the show where we just do a show. Are you drinking champagne with ice in it?
I am, because
Was it not cold enough?
It wasn't. And the place, their fridge is busted.
You gotta drink it quick, though, otherwise it waters it down, right?
I know how to drink my
He knows how to
champagne.
drink quick.
Don't tell me what to do. I'm an adult, sir.
So Warren, we do some random subjects on the show. Sometimes we just shoot the proverbial shit.
Yes, shoot the breeze.
Sometimes we talk about wrestling. Sometimes we chat with celebrity guests. And another thing we do is just like kind of go over subjects we dig and can talk about off air,
Play around with,
which always seems to make for the best on air content.
Yeah, that's what we do, guys. We bring you content.
We are content creators. It's like Boss Baby said, cookies are for content creators.
Yes.
And we love cookies.
Hashtag Boss Baby.
And we love Boss Baby.
Yeah.
And of course we love the titular Boss Baby. We did an episode about conspiracy theories a few months back or whenever the fuck back. And people really dug it.
Yeah. So yeah,
we got some veiled threads, but people seem to dig it overall.
Yeah, and we came up with another thing that's in the same kind of vein.
So you guys wanted more conspiracy theories, and we said, no, that's not what this podcast is. If you want conspiracy theories or true crime, go to one of the many wonderful podcasts that do that on their own.
Yeah, sure. Like, that's not us. I mean, but at the same time, it's just us sometimes. I mean, it's a fun place to visit, but I don't want to live there.
So, in the visiting sense, we just got an Airbnb in the subject of mystery, folks. And I'll tell you what, it's private, it's beautiful, it's got AC.
And we don't understand it.
Yeah, and it's exactly. And yet we're very confused and puzzled by our Airbnb.
Exactly. So
which I have been in real life a bunch of times.
Have you been puzzled by your Airbnb?
Yeah, I've gotten to a place in Switzerland that says like entire home, and then I'm like, oh no, this is your basement. I get that you can't enter down like through stairs, but I'm legit attached to your home.
That's a really weird just sign to say, like, just entire home.
Well, have you Airbnb'd before?
Yes, actually, I have.
That is one of the check marks in the search. I always sometimes it's shared and I don't want to see anyone.
But it sounded like it was like a painted sign, like on the door.
Entire home.
Yeah, it just said entire home.
It's like a Winnie. It's like the Winnie
the basement, but it just says entire home.
It's like the Winnie the Pooh sign. One of the letters is backwards.
Oh gosh, it's the best way to get Buffalo Bill, dude.
The mystery of Winnie the Pooh. Mysteries, guys.
So the theme this week.
Different from conspiracy theories, sort of.
Yeah, no, they're different.
Unsolved mysteries, right?
Yes.
So, like, here's a good
the
way
Robert Stack kind of way.
Yeah, or was it Nimoy? Or he did, what show was Nimoy?
Oh, gosh, that one from the 70s. I forget.
Yeah.
I forget.
Unsolved Mysteries.
No,
that was
Unsolved Mysteries was Robert Stack.
Nimoy did, like, the sci-fi alien-y one,
yeah,
right?
The one that we, like, saw on the History Channel back before it turned into just, that
That dude with the hair.
Yeah, Home Improvement
exactly.
or whatever, or Ancient Aliens.
Oh, we should also preface with, we are not experts on these subjects.
Yes.
We did little to no research.
Yep.
And we're probably going to be wrong about anything and everything. So...
Yeah.
There's your opportunity to go do some research on your own.
Exactly.
Fake news we are this week.
How about this? Everything that we say, we're going to end with the word allegedly from now on.
Works at the end of each subject. So let's kick
caveat.
right off. Here's a big one that you guys. So you're thinking mysteries like Agatha Christie or the game Clue ish, but also like
no real life mysteries.
Amelia Earhart.
Yes,
that's a good way to get
Earhart.
us in.
Yeah.
What happened to that lady?
She okay, well, just to clue our audience
Yes,
in.
if you're not familiar.
So she was flying around the world, essentially, and
She was a famous pilot.
yes, and her co-pilot was named Noonan. I remember that.
He was, and he was also her husband at a certain point.
That sounds about Kardashian, right? Yeah.
Or
Fred
yeah.
Noonan. There you go. Look at me. I'm not even
We're
looking at my
already
laptop.
wrong. Her husband was George Putnam, but Fred Noonan was her navigator.
Thank you. See, memory. So she's flying around the world, and all of a sudden she like vanished over like the South Pacific.
In 1937, over the Central Pacific Ocean.
She was the female Lindbergh.
Yeah, well, and here's the thing.
Without
right?
the baby.
There's been a lot of debate over the years. People look in the Sahara Desert for her a lot. It seems to be very popular. Like, what happened to this great pilot? How could she have possibly gone down? She was the best pilot in the world. What happened to her plane? I've heard some anecdotal reports that she wasn't that great a pilot.
Was that a great pilot?
I think there were a couple times where she
A
was
friend
trying
of
to-
a friend told you?
Yeah. A friend of a friend who has a podcast. I legit think she like crashed on a couple takeoff attempts. Like she got like the plane stuck. And this is gonna sound horrible, but I'm gonna throw it out there. I think the reason we all call her like the best pilot ever is because there were literally like 2 women pilots at the time.
Yeah.
So I think she legit was the best pilot ever for a woman in the year 19. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
In
Like, yeah, by
1937. By
comparison.
comparison. So like, if I haven't dug super deep on this mystery, but I would say she probably fucking crashed her plane into the ocean.
Here's the one that I heard. It's because she's flying through the South Pacific, and the Japanese were both starting to take over and starting to prep to take over the South Pacific. Is that she was shot down?
I'll buy that.
Because because the Japanese were doing maneuvers and so forth that they weren't supposed to be doing, and then bang, get shot down, and there you go. I think they even found bones like semi-recently.
There's a crash and sink theory. There's a theory that they survived and they went on to one of those islands.
Yes,
the Mariana Island or
they
or
found bones.
The Marshall Islands.
Yeah, they found bones.
Do you think they like lived out the rest of their life together, like Adam and Eve or whatever?
Yeah, no, not Adam and Eve. What is it? Blue Lagoon. Very
Okay.
Blue Lagoon.
Or I was gonna go Harrison Ford and Callista Flockhart.
yes, there you go. Wow.
6 days and 7 nights.
No, that's not Callista Flockhart. You're talking
it's
about Anne
not.
Heche.
Is it Anne Heche? You're right.
Yeah, I mean they have so much in common, but
Yeah, they both owned Harrison Ford. No kidding. Allegedly,
Yeah, there you go.
and one in a movie. So that's what we're talking about.
wasn't Schwimmer involved somehow? I don't know.
I think he was. I think he also
was.
crashed on that island.
Yeah, I'm
with
pretty
Harrison
sure it was
Ford.
Amelia Earhart and Fred Noonan and
David Schwimmer.
David Schwimmer. The Schwims.
Like I.
Shout out to David Schwimmer though.
On a list of 1 to 10, Mac, we'll rank each of these mysteries. Like, how badly do you want to know the truth? Is this something that keeps you up at night?
No, this one's like a 2.
Yeah.
It's like a 2 or 3.
I'm assuming she died due to a plane-related thing.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure a plane was related in her death.
You know, like,
yes.
I can imagine what that might be. You can
When she was
color
flying around the world
lines.
and she disappeared on her plane, I'm pretty sure a plane was involved.
You take an educated guess, right?
Yeah, I'm just throwing that out there.
Or she crashed, was perfectly safe, and somehow lived off the rest of her life on an island
On coconuts and
without
crabs.
being able to make contact with anyone ever.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
they had coconuts on Gilligan's Island. They made fucking radio stations and shit.
That's true.
and she was an engineer.
It's true.
They just had a millionaire,
And his wife.
Yeah, a millionaire, his wife, a movie star,
Professor Anne Marianne.
and Marianne.
Yeah.
They're just like, and some other. She's the only one that doesn't get like a title.
Yeah. Just
Because it's the
Marianne.
skipper, you know,
the movie
the captain.
star.
Yeah.
Look at, yeah.
And Marianne, I guess
Yeah,
she's here
and-
too.
Well, because the first
And some chick.
well, because the professor and Marianne, in the first season they just went and all the rest.
And all the rest meaning the one other person.
no,
they
it
didn't
meant,
name.
the professor and Marianne were considered all the rest.
You don't get
quote
the
unquote.
professor in the first season either.
No, when the black and white season, they just say all the rest.
That seems to be a mistake.
yeah. Well, that seems pretty insulting. It seems like a slap in the face of the professor. To be
That's
honest,
a real Winston Ghostbusters poster situation.
I mean-
right? It's like you had the amount of time in the song to say the names, but
Yeah.
you went like, and other people
other
we won't talk about whose names would have fit in the first bar of this thing.
yeah, exactly. And I know, I love it. He can make a radio out of coconuts, but he can't, make a hole in a,
They
fix a hole
did
in a
meet
boat.
the Harlem Globetrotters.
That is true.
You
And
know
a
what?
young Kurt Russell
Watch
as well.
this. Segue like a motherfucker.
Let's do it.
Bermuda Triangle,
Ah, there you go.
which is kind of what the deal with that show is a little bit, right? It's
I mean, not
they
really,
got caught
but
in a
yes.
squall, let's say.
Yeah, yes.
But I like
some
to-
kind of swell
I like to think alien hands had their.
had something to do with it.
Yeah.
What
do
are
you
your? Okay, you want me to go first? All
What do you
right.
know about it?
Well, I mean, it's a Bermuda and it's a triangle. It goes from Bermuda to Miami, and I forget what's in the Bahamas in the south. Like that. That
It
is
might be.
the
I'm checking
triangle.
right now. It might be Barbados. I'm looking right now. It's
Something like that.
Bermuda, Puerto Rico, and Miami.
Okay. Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico.
Ja.
Here's what I'll say is I get it. Okay, a bunch of like planes and boats all kind of disappeared within this triangle within a certain amount of time, and then next thing you know, it turned into like the Yeti of ocean faring.
Yeah.
The Yeti of ocean faring. Here's what I'll say is that within that triangle, it was a really, really busy trade route. So you're going to get a disproportionate amount of ships disappearing there, but none more so than other kind of routes by comparison of percentage.
I agree with you, but
I've heard about the compass thing.
Well, and that's the other. This is one where I don't. It's a mystery, right? But I kind of have leanings for a certain way. So, like, and we've talked about this on the conspiracy episode, weirdly enough. The concept of vile vortices, which are electromagnetic ley lines that run throughout the Earth. Right?
I mean, and apparently, like, they do.
That is
exist.
so. In terms of magnetism, like that spot,
it fucks with the
can
compass.
fuck with navigation.
It fucks with the compass. Yeah,
and to that extent, airplane navigation, and that's why the planes are crashing.
No, they're all compasses.
Yeah. And like.
Yes. And apparently there are places that do that. That's actually more of a fact than a fiction.
Electromagnetic phenomena is not any kind of like that is an absolute scientific fact. It happens in the poles. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Very heavily.
Well, I mean, of course, it happens at the pole.
Sure.
yeah. Oh wait, the compass gets fucked with at the North Pole.
It says north. It just says you're here.
Yeah, you're here. You made it.
Give up.
Yeah, the end just.
You want to go south?
You made it.
It says everything else is far. It says in every direction. It just says far.
Everything is south from here.
It's all south from here, kids. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think it's a combination of like an over-trafficked route with a little bit of like
there might be a huge iron deposit right under
and
there.
natural weather phenomena too, right? Because it's always storming down there. That's where like the hurricanes come from and shit.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
That
one's a strong like.
I'll give it a 4 or 5.
Yeah, you're more interested in the deal with the Bermuda Triangle than what happened to Amelia Earhart?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, because one's a natural phenomenon, possibly, and the other one is just like,
bad piloting.
Some chick on a plane. Like,
hey, she wasn't just some chick; she was the chick.
Yeah. And actually, she had a really great name too, Earhart. Earhart's an amazing pilot name.
Well, it's like there's a weather guy named like Stormy Daniels, or not Stormy Daniels, but it's like Stormy Day.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
God damn you, Stormy Daniels! You've taken over every Stormy in my mind.
Stormy McHurricane.
Yeah, I think it's in New York. I think his name's like Stormy Days or something. It's like. Did you know when you were a baby this is what you wanted to do?
You wanted to be a meteorologist?
That'd be like if your name was Macaulay McActor.
Yes, exactly.
Or Pothead Cohen. Like, our parents would have had to have been really fucking prescient to nail those, right?
All right.
So here's one that's always fascinated me. Are you familiar with the torrid tale of Anastasia Romanov?
I have a feeling you know a lot more than I do. I mean, I've seen the non-Disney movie.
Yeah, with Bartok the Bat.
Yeah, sure.
He's the best. He deserves a spinoff, and it never happened yet.
Go on.
He'll get there. And there's that dog in that movie. I love movies with animals. Yeah. I'm a mark for talking animals.
Well, I mean, it's not like virtually every Disney movie, though.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, every Disney movie has. Actually, let's aside from mysteries, let's see whether or not there's any
Disney movies with
Cinderella
talking animals. I can name one off the top of my head.
Name one.
Pocahontas.
Because not a single talking animal.
It's got the raccoon. It's got Miko or whatever.
Do they talk?
No, he doesn't talk.
Okay, there you go.
Also, Moana.
You got me.
Moana. There's a chicken.
Mulan. Any talking animal? There's a dragon.
Well, yeah, Mushu.
Yeah.
He's a talking dragon.
That counts as an animal. Dragons are animals.
In
too.
Hunchback, there are talking gargoyles.
And they're anthropomorphized.
And one is Jason Alexander, so you got to give it up.
Animals. Okay,
Pocahontas. They were like this.
Dig it.
There's no magic in that movie.
No, good call. Look, you get points. I'll
take it.
Yeah, you get Disney points.
And
for
I think
me.
Moana technically too, if you don't count like creatures and shit, because she's got like a pig in the beginning and a stupid chicken that always tries to die. Did you watch that movie?
Which one?
Moana.
No,
it's fun.
Is it
with The Rock? Yeah, I just watched it.
I'm way behind.
I'm
behind on my Disney.
Speaking of The Rock, Australia. This will only be a reference for you. Speaking of The Rock, you've got Uluru, The Rock. I know that because I watched Chris Lilly shows and they talk about it a lot.
I love Chris Lilly.
Are you a Chris Lilly
Summer
guy?
Heights High?
Oh yeah, We Can Be Heroes.
Yep,
awesome. I didn't know we shared that.
Yeah. I mean, Summer Heights High.
I'm a huge Chris Lilly guy.
Yeah, no, Summer Heights High. Actually, I still own it on discs.
Sure, yeah.
And I still watch
digital discs.
and I watch my digital discs.
Wait a minute, we'll get back to that in a second. That was a preemptive segue because we got to do Anastasia first.
Oh yeah.
We're teasing them.
We
Anastasia Romanov. So without doing any research, the basic deal is that in like a year, in some year in the 20th century, The Romanov family, which were the Tsars.
Between World War I and World War II.
Grand Duchess Anastasia Nikolaevna of Russia, July 1918, we're saying, right? She was 17 years old. She was the youngest daughter of Tsar Nicholas II. Nicholas was the head of the Romanov dynasty. He was the Tsar of Russia. He was the last Tsar. And basically Russia was like...
And his whole family got assassinated.
We don't want no Tsars no more. So they went to the Winter Palace, which was Ekaterinburg, I believe. I knew that from the top of my head.
There you go. Look at you.
And they just wiped out the entire family.
They lined them up against the wall in
a basement and assassinated them all. But there was one missing, and that was their...
Well, supposedly. There's something missing.
Well, they did not find her. She was 17 years old. They did not find her body in that basement. In subsequent years, look, so like... One of the Duchess survived theoretically, at least that room, and the mystery has been: was she shot in that room and just buried outside, or
buried somewhere else at least?
Buried somewhere else, or did she genuinely survive?
Because there was a lady who actually came forward.
Multiple
at some
ladies.
Point.
Yes.
I was more than one lady.
In the past 30 years, multiple women that are age appropriate have come forward and been like, I am the Duchess Anastasia.
I am the Anastasia.
Sure. And there's always been a big deal and a to do when it happens, and then they do like a single genetic test and they go like,
you're
bitch, you're from fucking England.
Yeah, you're Dutch.
Like go fuck yourself.
Yeah, go fuck yourself.
You crazy.
You crazy Dutch
like the
lady.
Same people call in like false police reports. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So like, there is no definitive proof of what happened to Anastasia.
I think they already found a jawbone.
They have found bones.
Yeah, I think they found a jawbone.
They've absolutely found bones. They've been like, oh right, animals maybe just got to it quicker, or like, I'm fairly certain that poor girl was murdered.
Yes, like with the rest of the family.
With the rest of their family.
And it was really, really lame. Look at that. They deserved better.
They weren't the nicest people.
Yeah, but I mean, the Tsars were going for some reform, though. Like like from his father, grandfather, Alexander.
They were spending a shitload of money. They were doing that in a very poor country. That family spent a fucking ass load of money.
I mean, it's like it's post of the Let Them Eat Cake kind of like dynasties of Europe and all that kind of stuff. But they were actually moving to modernize. I think it was just
very much so. They wanted to westernize.
Was the father or father's name Peter? Right? Was he Peter?
Yes, exactly.
He was actually he was moving towards reforms and so forth. He was just being. Like,
excuse me. Her father was Nicholas II.
Nicholas. There we go.
Her father was Nicholas II.
Thank you.
But,
There we go. I knew something about that felt wrong. But no, it was he was trying to do a drip coffee as opposed to a K-cup.
Sure. And it happens. Look, like we took out Bin Laden, right? Like these things happened.
Yeah,
where like political coups, as it were.
Yeah, it's you know what? Let's stick to mysteries
instead of political coups.
Yeah,
it is a mystery theoretically. What
I put that at like a 1.
I'll go like a 6. I'm curious.
Really?
I'm assuming that girl got shot that day with the rest of her family, but I'm just curious why wasn't she on the pile with the rest of them? What was different about her? I'd like to see her final moment.
They were already in like more than one pile anyway.
They weren't even all in the same room, I think.
That's
like
what I'm saying.
The parents were upstairs and then they took the kids to the basement.
I think it was different people burying different other people and stuff like it wasn't just one big group grave. And also it's like it's because it happened so long ago that I don't care. I'm not saying that, but at the same time, it has zero influence on what's going on.
Sure, it's not going to make a big difference in your life.
Yeah.
However, this didn't happen that long ago, and now we'll get to Australia. Allegedly, by the way, we should say about Anastasia.
Allegedly.
I saw a documentary on this once and was fucking fascinated. And I bring it up to like everyone in my life, and no one knows what I'm talking about. Australia, we're looking at you. The story of Harold Holt, the Australian Prime Minister who went for a swim one day and never came back.
Yeah. No, just imagine like Bill Clinton in the 90s just went for a swim in the Potomac and just never came back.
Just imagine the concept of like your president being allowed to go to the beach by himself to go for a swim to start with and then just be disappearing. Like they had a president one day or a prime minister and the next they didn't. Which is, it's a presumed drowning death, right? But there's so many conspiracy theories and rumors about it.
I mean, how could there not be? I mean, that's...
Because there's no evidence whatsoever. There's literally... He got to the beach and no one ever saw him again.
But I mean, if it was a weird conspiracy kind of thing where he was assassinated, it's actually a fascinatingly good story.
Oh, yeah. I'm amazed this movie never...
Who would fake a story like that? Why would the Secret Service say, like, hey, we lost track of our dude? Like, I mean, why would they even, like give up that kind of...
So the theories are that he was assassinated by the CIA, that he faked his own death, or my favorite was that a submarine met him and that took him to China.
Nice.
That's
All
my
right.
favorite, is that there was a Chinese sub waiting off the shore of
Oh,
Australia.
with all the clone factories.
Yeah, exactly. To bring him to the clone factories.
Yeah.
It's a gate. And I'm sure it might have happened before, but at least not I don't think in modern history, where like the head of state of a country, of a westernized,
Modern
country just disappeared one day
in the 21st century.
1967.
Okay, 20th century. Okay, yeah, but yes.
But still, you know what I mean? Who was our president in 67? Like Nixon. Can you imagine if Nixon went for a walk one day and never came back?
LBJ just going for a little swim.
We've had presidents get assassinated. We've never lost a president.
Just lost one. Just like, I'm swimming and goodbye. Goodbye forever.
I'm going to go with everything in that country. Oh, by the way, Australia, you had your moment in the sun. Now we're going to take you down a peg.
Yeah.
Everything in that
Going
country is
down.
designed to fucking kill you.
Right?
From like their fish to their insects to their everything to their racism.
Everything. Anything that has a spike on it. And by the way, a lot of your animals have spikes on them.
So,
All trying to kill you.
this dude dying in an ocean in Australia, I can buy that. Like,
Totally buy it.
I buy the second a toe goes in the ocean, 8,000 sharks are like, this is what we do.
Yeah. Even just your stationary, like sea urchins, or just like
Yeah.
like shaboink right in your ankle.
They're like
You're
extra
done.
aggressive in
Yeah,
Australia.
you're done. You're done.
You're
Like,
done, kid.
Yeah. Even your coral's trying to take us out. Like I'm done.
Here's a mystery. It was
Hold on, we gonna
I'm
rank
sorry.
that one? We gonna rank
let's
that
rank
one?
it.
Honestly, I'm gonna give that one like a
I'm
7.
going with like an 8 on
Yeah,
that.
7 or 8. Like,
I want to know what happened to that dude.
Honestly, I would like to. Like, yeah. Like,
Not that I have any personal stake in Harold Holt or Australia.
No, but that one's fascinating.
It's
actually. Like,
crazy.
No, yeah, people like. I mean, at least with Jeff Buckley, like he actually went to swim in the river, and I think it was the Mississippi.
And you could assume he drowned.
Well, no, I think they actually found his body.
Okay.
Boing. All right, cool.
You don't
Like,
find someone in the ocean.
I know. I'm just saying.
No, I'm
that
saying you
never
don't.
was-
Isn't that crazy?
I
Like,
know. It's just like, yeah. But at least we know the answer to that mystery.
there's something fascinating to me about like people who just disappear, and I listen to a lot of podcasts about that sort of thing, right? Like Up and Vanished and that sort of thing, and it really is just like. I always retrace my day and go like, or my buddies' days. If you disappeared,
And I'll kind of keep track of. Yeah. Do you know? What would you?
exactly.
Could you piece together?
Exactly. If I didn't speak, if we finished podcasting today and all of a sudden I didn't speak to you tomorrow, I'd have to be like, all right, well, he was definitely podcasting. He seemed in good spirits. Like nothing was out of the ordinary. You start doing that detective work.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool, man. There is something to the mystery. So like Amelia Earhart, unless you get like a plane and fly around the world, there's not much we can do to solve that one.
Yeah.
But
We
like,
can find bones on a beach somewhere, though.
you can find bones on a beach. And speaking of finding stuff on a beach, should we talk about the severed foot beach?
Yes, I
Now-
would like that. Yeah, 'cause you brought this one up earlier, and like
I'm not completely.
I'm not schooled on this one either. I think
it's-
we've done the same thing. We've both like read the same like kind of articles.
It's the
like,
Salish Sea human foot discoveries, and it refers to the discoveries of multiple detached human feet on the Pacific Northwest coast of the Salish Sea in British Columbia, Canada, and Washington. Basically, feet keep washing up on this beach.
Yeah, just got a whole bunch of feet.
As of December 8th, 2017, 13 feet have been found in the Canadian province.
Severed feet, and none of them match.
Out of those 13 feet, none of them are a complete set.
There's no set of
There are
feet.
13 individual fucking people missing feet somewhere.
And they're just floating down a river. Just
Washing up on a particular beach.
Yeah.
It started in 2007, and it's been like the last one that washed up was December 8th, 2017. A leg with a shoe attached.
Yes, I've heard of this one.
Can you fucking
some have
imagine?
shoes, some of them are barefoot. Like,
Can you imagine you buy your dream home on a beautiful beach in British Columbia?
and then just something comes
Raise
by
your
and severs
family.
your foot?
No, I didn't mean that. I meant I don't know where those people are coming from. So many feet wash up on your beach that it's like a common occurrence. Like that your kids have to, like the first few times your kids are traumatized, and by the 10th foot,
Like, kind of just like, there's a shrug.
they go, Dad, there's a foot on the beach
Another
again.
foot, like, not again. Like, yeah.
Who's cutting these feet? Is it a serial killer?
It could be a serial killer. It could be a medical thing.
Are these people alive without the feet?
That's a good question.
Right? Because we don't know that there's dead bodies attached. You can
Well-
lose a foot.
Let's spend some time in the Washington, British Columbia area and just see how many people with prosthetic feet we see.
Legit, who are not
And also-
concerned where their feet are.
See, I can't remember. I think it is a mixture of left and right feet. It's not just like right feet. Look, yeah, I think it is a mix.
Yeah, I mean-
I think like I said, I'm not as well schooled as much as like I read like more than one article about this in the last like 5 years. But
They found a New Balance shoe.
nice hashtag New Balance.
It's
Shout
crazy.
out.
It's just like
Our new sponsor,
exactly.
Chili's and New Balance.
Do you want to look stylish when your disembodied foot washes up on the shores of beautiful Canada? Get a New Balance. They're colorful,
And they'll keep your foot
and
balanced.
they'll keep you balanced.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no way. Like,
that
fucking
one,
mystery.
I'll
give it a 10.
I give that one a 10 also.
Where are these feet?
Where are
coming
the fucking
from?
feet coming from? Like where? Whose are these? Is it just medical waste? Was it like just like it? Because they're fresh. Like because it's not like
They're not
It's not one shipment of
There's
feet.
flesh on them.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like it wasn't like just one boat tipped over full of feet.
They fell off a truck somewhere.
Yeah,
hint, hint.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't just one truck full. Like it's obviously a continuing thing.
Someone
but they're not finding bodies. They're
finding just legs and feet.
well, it's not like they're finding bodies that are missing feet. Like
No.
somewhere
exactly.
else.
Well, they can't do you can't do the fucking
Like upriver or whatever.
you can't Lego this shit back together, right?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Yeah,
when you're upriver, like you can't and so no, I would love to know the answer to this one.
Who's
'cause it would be
taking
great.
these feet?
Honestly, I bet you $1,000,000 that the answer is hilarious and not gruesome.
It's not scary or gruesome
Yeah,
at all.
I bet you it's going to be a hilarious answer. Like, it's actually like, it really is. Like, they don't know what to do with feet that have to be amputated or something like that.
So one guy is just throwing them out into the river. Yeah.
Like, and just like, I'm just going to throw it in the ocean.
All these people are like, what's the mystery of these feet? And you cut to like some dude in Toronto named like Jimmy.
Who's waiting over his head with his job.
And just every night he's like, all right, another sack of feet into the river. And just, oh boy, my life, huh, Jimmy?
I know.
I should have listened to mom and stayed in school.
I'm in over my feet on this one. Hey!
Now, some of these. There's one that you are super interested in, and
Yes.
you brought up before. Will you tell the Warren the sordid tale of the
Dyatlov Pass.
Please do.
You guys definitely 1,000% need to Google this thing, and there's all kinds of videos on the YouTubes about it. It's stupid fantastic. It's I love how fantastic it is. But this group of like 9 and then eventually 8 hikers went to go hiking in
Wait, how did it go from 9 to 8?
Because one of them dropped off.
Oh, and survived.
Yes, it was one of the Yuris.
One of them was like too rich for my blood. One of the 8 Yuris involved in the 9.
There were 3 Yuris out of 9, but one of the Yuris dropped off.
Okay, smart. That was the smart Yuri.
So they're hiking, like, they're going to go to the top of this mountain, and it's like 80 kilometers away. They get 70 kilometers there. They get to like the base of this mountain, and then they're not heard from again for a while. And then all of a sudden, they send search parties out, and they find one group maybe about a half a kilometer away, like just buried, but they're all wearing each other's clothing.
They like switched clothing at some point.
Yeah, one of them is missing a tongue. One of them actually has wounds that
defensive, right?
no, they're wounds because he was trying to climb a tree.
Okay.
So they found the wounds in his hand, but they also found the flesh in
On
the
the
tree
tree.
bark. Then there was another group that was buried about 9 meters of snow. Is all kinds of. They cut their way out of their cloth tents. Like, so they weren't trapped. I don't know why they didn't just exit normally. There's a zillion different kind of like theories about
What
this
the
kind of thing.
fuck could have gone on?
Right? And why?
Because it's not about a freezing to death like Dahmer party. Like,
and some of them were found to be radioactive. They actually had radioactivity in their bodies. Like, it's like whether or not it was bombs,
You wanna
whether or
hear
not
mine?
is it a Yeti?
I think the Russian government experimented on them.
On them,
Is that-
or mistakenly experimented on
In
them.
the area, like mistakenly. Well, it's like
it's not like an alien abduction kind of thing where like they came down and experimented.
The
on
only
them.
thing it reminds me of is, and I didn't want to put this on here because it was solved, but that town in France where everyone went crazy. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
So I don't want to get the exact details on this. So it was ergot poisoning. Point Saint Esprit. There was a mass poisoning in 1951. More than 250 people were involved, including 50 people who were interned into asylums and 4 deaths. Basically, a foodborne illness was suspected, and people thought it was cursed bread. Now, the theory is that like we dosed their water with LSD. to test what would happen on a small populace if you got everyone super high on LSD.
And what year was this?
1951. So this is like pre-CIA. This is
Yeah,
like
this is when we're still trying to figure out what LSD is.
OSS and shit. And like this is the beginning of MK Ultra, basically, or not MK Ultra, but
But no, when we're discovering what things like LSDs are and stuff like that. LSDs.
that division. And there's a guy who alleged that the Special Ops Division of the CIA tested it on the population. I mean, because there's two theories, right? It was either LSD or something natural that happens called ergot poisoning that happens in bad bread, basically.
Yeah, it's a Salem witch trials. Like
Yes,
apparently,
exactly.
Yes, have been like blamed on that.
Well, and
yeah.
that's why people hallucinate and fucking go crazy. I wonder if this Russia thing wasn't something like that, where suddenly like they were just fucking out of their minds. Why did someone theoretically rip their own tongue out? Which is what it seems like, right?
It could have been animals. Like, but even though they didn't see any animal tracks.
They didn't take any other fleshy parts. They didn't take the eyeballs or anything.
Yeah,
like, they would.
exactly.
You think animals are gonna leave a fucking hot
That's
lunch
what I mean.
behind?
And one of them was like, like their head was in a stream, but it was like the dead of winter kind of thing.
There's just
So
too
it's
many
all
weird
frozen.
things. It's very like Cronenberg-y.
Yeah, exactly. One of
Like
their,
a guy stuck halfway through a tree.
One of their things is that they say, because the lanterns actually, like back then, they used to actually use some radioactive material like thorium or something like that.
And you think literally they got
And
radiation
so
poisoning?
so no, that's where the radiation came from, at least. And then they felt that there was an avalanche coming. And so that's why they all ran in a huff.
They panicked.
And they just grabbed whatever coats and things that they possibly could. But they also were found in 3 different groups, which is like, that's like the horror movie cliche. You don't break up in groups, like you stick together. Like, but it was in the middle of the night, so they didn't know which way to go. Like, they ran down the hill, and now they don't know where their camp is anymore.
They just panicked, and they were lost, and they were cold, and they had radiation poison. Like, it
And
seems
also-
like every bad thing that could have happened happened.
And also, people in apparently when they go through hypothermia, like 30 to 50% of people who go through this kind of thing, they start feeling too hot and start throwing their clothes
ripping
off.
their clothing off, right?
Yeah, so that could explain some of that kind of stuff. It could explain why they were in other people's clothing. It's like, well, that person's dead. I might as well take his clothes.
Can you imagine if it was like some weird, like, fun Russian sex game where they're like, all right, here's the deal.
That's one of the theories. Is sex games.
Is it really?
It really is one of the theories.
That would be my first thought, is that these Russian people like went out to the woods, stripped all their clothing off. They're like, let's fucking cut each other's tongues out.
Yeah,
we're Russian and everything is sad and
everything's sad
in whatever year it
is. Let's drink some cognac and get weird.
Can you
And drink
imagine-
some fucked up bread.
How weird you'd have to get to rip your tongue out?
Yeah. I mean,
You can't imagine?
Yeah, I mean,
You've been there.
I've been there. Yeah, I'm on my 3rd tongue already, bro.
That Pagemaster set got weird.
That shit got weird, got funky. We're getting crunk, allegedly.
Allegedly, and we should say allegedly. I do want to go there. So what are we giving this?
Honestly, I give this one a strong 10. On
Yeah,
my
I'm giving
part.
this like my favorite one so far.
Yeah, no, this is one of my favorites. Like,
Stu, why
this
are
is
you
actually the
filming
impetus.
us? Oh, I'm kidding.
Hey,
We told
Stu.
Stu. Hey, Stu's here, everybody.
Hey, Stu just walked in. Hey.
He's not going to be on the mic this episode though because we hate him.
Yeah. No, we'll bring him back.
We're
later.
saving him.
Yeah, we're saving Stu. Stu is our foil. Yeah.
Our tinfoil is more like it. Stu, stop filming. You're making me self-conscious.
Speaking of mysteries,
Speaking of mysteries, here's one of my favorites of all time. And of course, Stu recorded the video sideways in a way that it could. Stu. Oh, Stuart.
oh, that's so mysterious.
Oh, buddy. Oh, buddy. You want to give it one more shot in a way that posts to Instagram, or
I do long ways, man.
it doesn't work for Instagram stories?
Okay.
And speaking of stories, here's a
Give me
little
a story.
tale about a British fella that murdered a lot of prostitutes and stole their vaginas.
okay, go.
It's Jack the Ripper.
Yeah, we've touched on this on our serial killers.
We named him. We
for a
said he
second.
was our favorite serial killer, but we never got into the mystery aspect of like who could it have been.
and his letters are great.
And I'll tell you what, it wasn't me.
I mean, I wish.
You, I'm iffy on.
I know me. I have a feeling he was totally charming, just like me.
So the prevalent theories on old Saucy Jack, right, are that he had to have had some surgical training.
Yes, he was either a surgeon or
Or
a butcher.
right?
Yes.
And that's where you get
He knew his way around meat.
I know a little bit too much about this subject for everyone's
Go on.
comfort.
I want to hear it.
So one of the big theories that happened, right? So the murders were happening in Whitechapel. They claimed it was a butcher. At that time, a lot of the butchers were Jewish. There was a huge wave of anti-Semitism happening at the
Wasn't there
time.
something written on the wall too?
And I believe it's the 4th murder, and I can't tell you, it might have been Polly Ann Nichols, but there was chalk writing on the wall, and it said, misspelled, these exact words, the Jews are the ones who will not be blamed for nothing. And because of that,
Sounds legit to me.
because of that, before they were calling him Jack the Ripper, they were calling the guy killing prostitutes in Whitechapel Leather Apron. Because they thought it was a butcher with a leather apron, and they thought it was a Jewish guy, right? And then what you said started happening, and you started getting the letters.
Yes.
What are called the two ones that are definitely
Considered to be real.
are the Dear Boss letter.
Yeah, Dear Boss.
It starts
yeah.
Dear Boss, and the one that ends Saucy Jack when he
Mm-hmm.
calls himself Saucy Jack, because he included pieces of liver in with those.
He actually
letters.
gave some evidence, which is like what serial killers do when they want to get caught.
Maybe about 10 years ago, an author named Patricia Cornwell wrote a book about Jack the Ripper where she claimed to have solved it. A lot of people think it's an artist named Walter Sickert, who was an American visiting at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there is the From Hell theory, which is one of the major theories, which is that
I'm soft on that one.
are you? It's
Yeah.
that Prince Philip, Prince Edward, one of Victoria,
The prince.
one of Victoria's sons had syphilis and was fraternizing with prostitutes and getting them sick. And the way that they wanted to hush up on him, he was also insane or mentally handicapped.
Listen, syphilis was like getting a cold back then,
But not
in
for
the
the-
way that it wasn't a big deal. And if like some prostitute said that the prince gave her syphilis, like that would be one thing. Like like it's like
Well, the exact From Hell theory is that he got one pregnant, right? That's a theory, and that the crown was
could
actually.
they do a DNA test on that?
There
No,
was-
they can't.
There was
That's
no,
what I'm
well, they
saying.
couldn't, and also there was no baby because the crown murdered all the prostitutes, theoretically, right? Like,
Yeah, I mean, I don't like that one.
it's a little too dark webby for me.
Yeah, exactly. I
Like,
think
it's
that's a
too
really
much
great.
work.
That's a really great.
That being
adjective.
said, I do tend to lean more towards him being an aristocrat or a man of means, not living in the area, because the idea being that like whatever he was offering these women, they were so. I know too much about Jack the Ripper. I love it.
I love it. I love it too.
These chicks were so fucking afraid that prostitutes were getting murdered
Mm-hmm.
that for them to go with a random dude, he'd have to fucking give them a lot of money or like. There's the fruit thing. One of the women was claimed to have gotten an apple, or someone saw a girl receive an apple, which was like a rare delicacy at the time.
A girl's got to eat, you know.
So I think it was just like some sick fucking rich dude who was going down to the ghetto and killing hookers.
I mean, I don't think the timelines like hook up, but I love the H.H. Holmes
I do.
connection.
Oh, I mean, there's also
Because he was living in London, there is an overlap.
and there are copycat crimes that pop up like
Exactly.
20 years
So,
later in
like, yeah.
England, and
I wouldn't be surprised if he was honing his skills out there, because he also had a medical background, and he liked to dissect bodies and so forth. And
it's,
yeah.
it's almost unfair to call him the best serial killer ever because he was operating in a time like where there were no cameras or electricity
Or DNA
You know what I mean?
testing, or, you know.
That being said, he was so good at serial killing.
yeah.
He really fucking was.
Yeah.
Like, we have no clue who that dude was.
Yeah.
No clue.
I think the only reason why it stopped, I mean, goes back to even the Zodiac, which is like how I think he died
He died or he got locked up.
or he got locked up.
Yeah, and they've gone through all
or he
that.
moved away.
Yep, those are the...
Because they don't stop. People like this don't stop.
No, they've checked mental asylums, and there's a couple people they think it could be, but like no one's got conclusive proof on who Jack the Ripper was. And you know what I say? Good on you, Jackie.
Yeah, good on
He
you.
did it.
Yeah, good on you.
Had to get away with murder 7 times or however he's
You
actually.
you certainly killed those ladies, haven't you?
He did, man. He killed them like just in a world where like there weren't
I
serial
find that
killers.
one fascinating. Honestly,
do.
I give that one like a 9.
That's
9
a 10
and a
for
half.
me. That to me is like
I know
my,
it's a full 10 for
that's
you.
my top 10 mystery of all time. Is like who the fuck was Jack the Ripper?
Yeah. I kind of want to know about the feet a little bit more. That's why I'm giving this one like a 9 and a half.
all right, fair enough.
But I would love to I'd like to know. I wouldn't like to like see what happened, but
No,
yeah.
but I would like conclusive proof on like, yeah, it was this dude. He was fucked up.
yeah, it's Jim over here.
Sure, I
Like,
just want to know it wasn't a Jewish guy, basically.
I was gonna say because you opened with the Jew stuff, man.
Hoping and praying, dude. Fucking son of Sam. I was like, really, buddy?
Yeah.
And you had to be like really schlubby and ugly too.
Yeah. It's like, yep. He's
Fuck
in the-
you, Berkowitz. And he was like the crazy one who was like, oh, listen to my dog. Everyone's like, ooh, Ted Bundy. He's the sexy one. We get like David fucking Berkowitz.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Buh.
You're welcome.
D.B. Cooper.
Yeah.
What do you know about the guy?
Okay, so
I'm vaguely familiar.
I was like,
There's
wait,
a Beastie Boys reference, I know.
he got on a plane, and this was like before they had like metal detectors and all that kind of stuff, and Gets on a plane, sits in the back, wears some sunglasses, the whole works. He hands a letter to the stewardess saying, "Oh, bring this to the pilot or whatever," and it's, "I have a bomb," like, yeah.
And had he already robbed a bank?
Well, we don't know.
We don't know.
We have no idea.
We have so the idea is that D.B. Cooper was some random dude who got on an airplane.
Yeah, he got on an airplane, said he had a bomb in his briefcase, his briefcase, and just said, "Yes, here's what I want you to do. I want you to land at this kind of place. I want you to land at this airport." And pretty much
I thought he jumped out on a parachute.
Well, no, that's the thing. They landed. He was given money. Then they took off again, and then he jumped out of the plane with a parachute.
Love it.
Yeah, he had everyone like released from the plane except for like the crew and stuff like that. Had them stand in the front of the plane, open up the door, had them fly at like 10,000 feet or something like that.
And he had bags on him, right?
Like, yeah, he had bags of money.
He had bags of money. We know he had money on him.
Yes, like he received the actual money. And not only that, we know what the serial numbers are too.
And they've never showed up, right?
A couple of them have showed up.
Really?
A couple of them have. And some of them were, like, eaten up by, like, nature and weather and so forth. So there's this belief that, like, because he did. Like, okay.
He
like
parachuted out.
He parachuted out of a plane. That this actually.
So fucking awesome.
Everything that we're saying right now or what I'm saying is like, probably about 90% true. I haven't read up on it recently. That said, I can hear your phone
Stu,
going off,
shut your
dude.
phone off. We can't bring you anywhere, Stu.
But he did jump out of a plane with a bunch of bags and a parachute, and nothing was seen or heard from him again.
Ever again.
And
only a few of those money were ever found.
Yes, exactly. A couple bucks here and there and all that kind of stuff.
You gotta like hope he got away with it, right?
Of course, that was the whole thing, is that he was actually seen as like a modern day like Robin Hood-esque kind of character, where he was stealing from the rich and like didn't give nothing to the poor.
And
I guess
pulled off like a real fucking baller like Grand Theft Auto move.
Are you kidding me? Like no, it goes beyond even Grand Theft Auto. I mean, like it's more like a
Far Cry 5.
Like it was like James Bond. I mean, he freaking like robbed a plane, like got it to land, got it to take off again, and then jumped out with a parachute.
And he didn't kill a single person.
No.
The plane was fine.
Never showed a gun.
Nope.
Never actually showed a bomb. All he did was show a briefcase and said
there's
a note,
a bomb in
there's
it.
a bomb in here. That's all that ever happened.
That's so crazy, man.
Yeah.
I want to hope that guy's alive.
Yeah, me too. I mean, this happened so long ago.
He's probably not alive, but I want to hope that he lived.
Yes.
And got to spend all his money somehow.
Yeah, but
I guess he couldn't have, though, right? We would know.
Yeah, but they never found a body. But at the same time, like, the Washington State wilderness.
Is that where it was? That he fell over the state of Washington?
Yeah, into like that, dense forest. So even if he parachuted, like he's probably gonna hit some freaking trees on his way down. But I mean, that's where the Sasquatch is.
Speaking of Far Cry 5, I've been doing a lot of parachuting. It is not hard. It is hard to avoid trees. So
yeah,
if D.B Cooper did make it, good on you.
That's what I'm saying. Well, it's so dense that there are actually like probably sections that people have never even set foot on.
Yes.
That kind of thing. So so it's like there's a reason why there's so many Sasquatch kind of like things going on there, and D.B Cooper.
Allegedly, D.B Cooper, what are you giving it?
That one?
I'm giving it full. You know what? I can't give it full marks. I can't give everything full marks. I'll go 8.5.
Yeah, I was going to say I'll give that an 8.5, 9.
I'd be curious.
I want to know.
Find out.
Actually, I would like to know. I mean, I have a feeling it's probably going to end up with him being just like his neck broken on a tree on the way down.
Yep. So it's not a fun answer.
Or him and the Sasquatch lived in a cabin together.
Or he went on to become Steve Wozniak and start Apple Computer.
Well, let's start that. Let's start that conspiracy theory.
That Woz is D.B. Cooper.
The Woz is D.B. Cooper.
Remember when he was dating Kathy Griffin?
You know what? I thought the exact same
thing. Was that literally
thing.
what you were just thinking about?
It was literally what popped in my head. Like, for some reason, when I think of the Woz, like, besides Apple, I think of Kathy Griffin.
We're sad people,
I
us
know,
humans.
I know. What's wrong with us?
You just reminded me of two cool mysteries that aren't on my list, and I'm not going to have the exact details on this, but it's the idea of just a thing someone claiming to have a thing and not being able to know about it, right? So there is a church in Africa, I forget what country it's in, but it claims to have the Ark of the Covenant, and it's guarded 24/7. A day. No one has ever been allowed inside the building except one monk to look at it, but they claim they have it. in my world, I'm like, yo, just go there and fucking bust the door down and be like, show me that shit, right?
Okay, let's do this. Let's get a band of mercenaries.
Well, and there's something fascinating to me too. So in Japan, I love Japan, dude. Obviously, we talked about it.
I know you do.
Listen to this fucking mythology. There are these things called the imperial treasures, right?
Yes.
One is like a sword, one is like a jade pin, and one is like a mirror, right? Mm-hmm. And they are kept in complete 24/7 guard in
isolation,
three locations around the country, and the only people who have ever had access or been able to see them are the emperors. And they even for like when this new emperor becomes emperor of Japan next year, the son, he's abdicating, the main guy, they will use facsimiles of these things at the ceremony because they are that rare, and only like 3 people on the planet are allowed to lay his eyes on them.
Okay, cool.
I want to fucking see those things.
I would love to see those.
Because
that is mysterious.
Here's
man.
the mystery.
Yeah.
Do they have them? Probably not, right?
Yeah, no, exactly. Like,
If you got something super cool, you show it all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's true. Although I will say that there were certain kind of like apps early on in the App Store kind of thing where I wouldn't tell people where I got them. because
that. It's when
there's a little bit of like, if you have something really, really cool, like, you kind of just...
Hey, man, I was at a party.
Also, is this Joseph Smith, though, a little bit of kind of just like, oh, these golden plates that you can't see.
Yeah, this angel came and talked to me, but then you can't talk to him because he's gone now. I was at a party.
And these plates are totally weird.
I was at a party last month, and a bunch of people were like, that's an awesome jacket. Where'd you get it? And I was like... Oh, I don't remember.
Yeah, you totally remembered, but
of course I did.
You just didn't want everyone else walking around with it.
Googling my jacket.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So imagine that.
I get it. So imagine you got the Ark of the Covenant.
Exactly. You got the Ark of the Covenant. You have a magic mirror. Like, I'm not sure if you want to tell everybody where you got it. Like,
fair enough.
That one would be neat. I put that one in about like a 6.
Well, all those kind of things, right? It's anyone who
5 or
anyone
6.
who claims to have. I mean, there's a temple in the Himalayas that claim to have a Yeti skeleton.
Oh.
And they don't let people see it. It's that thing. Let me see all your shit.
Yeah, no. I mean, like, yeah, sure. I mean,
I want, like...
How about this? Give me a week. I can get you in Yeti skeleton, dude.
All right, I'm on.
Yeah. Like
you have a week, man.
But no, but you can't see it.
All right. There was that thing in the early 90s where they did all those live Egypt shows, remember?
Yes.
With Dr. Zawi Hawass, and there was one where they found like that column in the main Giza pyramid, and they didn't know why it was there, and they put a camera in, and at a certain point the camera was like, there's still a bunch of hallway we can't get to. Mm-hmm. That to me is fucking fascinating mystery.
Yeah. No, apparently there's actually a good amount of the stuff
undiscovered.
Undiscovered in Giza. That they also in China too.
Yeah,
there's certain chambers that they don't want to open.
They just found those terracotta warriors in the last
2 decades.
Yeah.
And apparently also like there's another chamber there, and they don't want to open it because they don't want to like oxygen can destroy it. But apparently there's like lakes of mercury.
It's a real Schrodinger's,
which also would also fucking fuck you up too. But it is a Schrodinger's cat.
Schrodinger's fucking artifact. We don't want to open the door because we'll ruin it, but also we don't know what's inside to ruin.
So it has guys like us going, ooh.
I just want to open
rubbing our fingers on our chins.
Like I just want to be Indiana Jones / Lara Croft. Like I just want to be the first dude to open up a thing and be like, what? Look at all this.
So we'll do Indiana Jones, Lara Croft. I call it Indiana.
Fine, I'll take Lara. That's
yes.
fine. I'll take it.
Let me see those titties.
Should we? Maybe after the show. Should we tomb raid? Should that be a thing? Stu, you're the CFO of this company. Should we look into tomb raiding?
Yeah, Stu, should we tomb raid?
We've got YouTube. We've got bunnyers.com. We got
should we raid some tombs?
Financially, it's a great idea.
Right? There's treasures.
Yeah, I mean, the ROI on that is fantastic.
Yeah, the ROI on that.
Yeah. No, I think
return.
I think there's a glass ceiling there, man. We could shatter it.
I'm down to get into tomb raiding, man.
Yeah,
I'm not against it.
I'm in. I'm
certainly not against it. So here's another quick one, and I know this has been covered in recent times on fucking American Horror Story, but something that's always fascinated me is the colony of Roanoke.
Yeah, Roanoke is awesome.
Which is basically, it was sometime in the 1600s, I believe, maybe even a little.
I think it's even earlier. Yeah.
Like when the first colonists came to.
Actually, no, you're in the right. You're in the right strike zone. Yeah.
Basically, there was a colony on an island in Roanoke, Virginia, that everyone who ever lived there disappeared one day. They just like left all their shit.
Well, no, it wasn't just like one day. Essentially, like the ships left to go, go back home.
And by the time they got
back,
by
the time the supply ships came back, I forget what it was written on the tree.
Croatan.
Croton or Croatan.
Yeah. Croatan.
And just it was just that was
everyone was gone. So there have been some really cool theories over the years. Either they got wiped out by disease or famine or a Native American
Or
tribe.
Native Americans. Yeah.
Or
they got intermixed.
incorporated into a Native
Yes.
American tribe, which is the actual prevalent theory. People have claimed seeing pale-featured,
Yes.
blue-eyed members of that tribe.
No, there were certain people of when more settlers came by of Native Americans that could speak English already.
Yes.
And
how
so
did they fucking learn it?
How'd they learn it?
See, and that to me is like the cool, easy answer is like, oh, they were probably like starving and bad at doing stuff, and these dudes came over and they were like, yo, we got this, just come with us.
Yeah, because Native Americans actually were really good about,
helping people out.
They would raid your camp. Don't get me wrong.
Yes.
But at the same time, they would also incorporate like new peoples into their culture. Like they were actually
As opposed to the Vikings who just murdered everyone.
yes, right?
Like
Yeah.
leave no survivors, right?
Right, yeah. Exactly. Well, actually, you know what? They actually were able to incorporate. Like, they turned Christian after a while.
They did, right?
Yeah.
That's when they fucking. That was when they jumped the shark.
Yeah.
You guys, Vikings jumped the shark when they turned Christian.
When they started Christianity, yeah. When they started getting rid of the old gods.
So that one, like Roanoke's, not even so much of a. I mean, it's a mystery. In
No,
where
actually,
they went.
I would really like that one. That one I shall give like a 7.5.
It's one of our great American mysteries,
I
right?
think no, I would love to look at like I would love to like be overhead or watch a making of a murderer documentary about it. Like,
Yeah. and where they went and the
or a man or a Mindhunter-esque reimagining.
If you listen to Stephen King, it was Linoge who took care of them, and you learn that in Storm of the Century.
Oh wow, I have no idea.
Storm-
None of those words made any sense.
Storm of the Century was a novella that got turned into a TV movie by Stephen King that was basically about a tiny town in Maine that
Was it Bangor?
No, I forget the name. But this was basically happening too. Like someone was taking away their children. You find out it was this evil, like ageless guy named Andre Linoge who was the reason Croatan. Like he basically gave everyone the deal. Spoiler for Storm of the Century, but this guy always wants to pick a successor, and he finds a kid, and he's basically like, look. Give me what I want and I'll go away. So either give me this kid or I'm going to murder all of you.
Yeah.
The Roanokes didn't give the kid up, so they all got killed.
So they
in this one, they give the kid up. Like,
I mean, listen, they have some. I can see why Stephen King went down that road because it offers some really
horror
fun
story did the same
great,
thing. Yeah.
great horror storytelling potential. Like, yes, I mean, I'm not sure if he actually believes that.
No.
He's Stephen King.
I love Stephen King.
I think he's great. I like him more in principle than like in execution, and more in the fact that I've actually like not read a lot of his stuff.
I like him more in the sense that I haven't read his work.
I love it in
I
the
love
fact
the concept of him.
Well, that's what I mean. Whenever somebody tells me like about a Stephen King book or
like,
novella,
ooh.
I go, "That sounds great."
Yeah, he's the best.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like I'm not against
He's the
his
best.
execution.
He hates you though, man.
I know. I've
Never
heard,
read Bag of Bones. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I know. I've heard that. Like I heard Sleepers is actually really about me. Like
Sleepers?
yeah.
We're winding down on the mystery front, and then you got like some big ones like the Nazca lines in Peru.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Those are like the big, basically the crop circle looking drawings that you can only see from an airplane that are like fucking 40 miles long.
Yeah, and people shaped
and animal shaped.
And this is long before we had flying devices.
And the idea being is like
you know.
how they couldn't see what they were drawing, so how either it was like incredible planning or something genuinely mysterious.
Ooh, it must have been UFOs.
Right.
Shutting down with loudspeakers down there, kind of going, "Hey guys, no, a little to the left."
Well, it's like crop circles in general. We can kind of all encompass this, right? Because crop circles is the same ish sort of.
Yeah,
thing.
but no, there's guys who've actually admitted
Yeah,
to
with
making.
wood, they have,
crop
do you know how they
circles
do it?
with a wooden board
yeah,
and
they
a
put
rope.
wood on their feet with a rope, and they just go, wonk.
See, that's what
they
I mean
duck
about
walk across a field. But these are way bigger in scope.
Okay.
and they're in the desert, and like
Here's what I'll say is that I doubt, I doubt it was like done, for or has something to do with aliens or anything like that. I mean, look at the pyramids. That was a vastly more difficult task that's done for whatever its reasons are, kind of thing.
Calendars.
I mean, yeah, and look how much precision that it took to do that.
Well,
and so doing making some fucking sand people like carving out that kind of thing isn't listen, it's super impressive,
doable.
but it's doable. Listen, if you give me, you, and Stu enough time and a compass,
I don't think the question is how.
And a ruler?
But I don't think the mystery with the Nazca Lions is how. It's more like Stonehenge, right? It's
Why?
like why.
Why?
Yeah. Like why Stonehenge is on the list of mysteries. Like why? I think we figured that out. That was like literal
the
sundial.
sostoluses
It was a
and stuff.
calendar. Like the
Yeah.
sostoluses.
A totally awesome one.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
like it was a solstice calendar where basically the sun lined up through the fucking.
Yeah, no, it's an awesome calendar.
This just seems like cave art to like a bigger extension, like dudes
Yeah.
tagging their neighborhood or whatever. It's like they were like the prehistoric Banksies.
Just imagine what's like 2,000 years from now, the way that like our ancestors, if we're still around, will look at this. This is all cave art that we're doing now. Like, like the Wikipedias and Googles and everything that's sitting on your walls right now.
Sure.
Like, all the Picassos in the
They're
world.
gonna be so confused.
That's so fucking cave art, man.
They're gonna be so confused, just like we are.
I
Just
know.
like we're like, why did they do that? Because some ancient dude would be like, I don't know, I was bored and
I was
stoned.
bored.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like
I had a cool idea to make a monkey in the sand. Leave me
Right?
alone.
Exactly. I just wanted to make a really big figure in the sand, bro.
Make a monkey. Where are we on like all of those sort of things? You know, the let's say pyramid, crop circles, Nazca Lions, Stonehenge, the mounds in North America and like Minnesota. It's all like the basic idea of
like the North Stones or whatever
Yeah.
in Minnesota.
Where are you
Yeah, that
on-
one I don't believe at all.
Where are you on like? I'd like to know why things. Easter Island's another example, right? Like.
Oh, Easter Island. I mean, I think we have a fairly good sense.
The mystery
of
is
what
how
it
they got them upright and moved them into spots.
No,
and
no,
stuff
they
like that.
they use trees.
They walked them.
No, do you notice there's no trees on Easter
Sure.
Island?
Well, that's why they died off.
They all died off.
because they used all their trees.
By the
Yeah.
time Western sailors hit that island, everyone was like starving and disease.
Island nations have a tough time because of the tree thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
No, they actually they had no cover. Now it's like like half a desert practically. So that's how that.
So
happened.
we're
I'm not shocked.
I'll go
by that.
5 on these. I'd like to know. Like
Yeah,
I'd like to see a video.
I give that a good 4. I'll give it a 4.
I'd like to see like the blueprint of the pyramids, but at the end of the day, they did it. So like, who
Yeah,
cares?
the pyramids I'll put a little higher,
Okay.
but also like, it's more like I want to be a drone flying over and watching it and fast forward. Like
Time lapse. Yeah,
I want to
like a
time lapse
motherfucker.
those suckers and maybe be able to sit down in one of their meetings.
Like when they
fly
build a
on the
new
wall.
ride at Disneyland, they do like that 2-month time lapse, and you're like, whoa.
I'll fly on the wall. Like, I'll totally do that.
Do that with pyramids. Let's close up on.
Yeah.
Let's get a little dark on this, man. Do you know anything about the Black Dahlia murders?
I mean, I know that they happened. I know like what she was like cut in half. pretty
Yeah,
much.
she was. It was like ritual.
Did she have one of those Brazilian or Mexican smiles or whatever Brazilian smiles? What do they call?
I'm gonna look it up for us right now. So the Black Dahlia she was an actress named Elizabeth Short who came out to L.A. to hit it big in the industry. She was highly publicized due to the graphic crime of the nature. So her corpse was super mutilated and severed at the waist.
Yeah, I was gonna say
So
she was cut
half.
literally in half.
Yes. They don't know who did it. They don't know why. The actual murder had like weird satanic.
Was
and,
it
like,
Damien Hirst?
It was Damien Hirst. There were like really weird ritualistic elements to it, like, and it was the first big like giant murder in Hollywood where they called it like a sex fiend slaying.
Well, because she was apparently a prostitute, but that's been disputed. I know that. And she was a pretty young lady.
She's like it's like our American Jack the Ripper. That's like one of the biggest unsolved murders in American
Yeah,
history.
but at least Jack the Ripper, it was more than one kind of thing. This was
someone
one-off.
got away with cutting a woman in half.
Absolutely. No,
Like that's
absolutely.
fucking trippy.
Yeah, people get away with things.
Yeah.
Especially in those days. But yes, no, it was. I do know that. I mean, listen, they made a whole movie with Josh Hartnett about it.
They did, didn't they?
Yeah, I didn't see, but like a shout out to Josh Hartnett. Look, yeah, nothing wrong with it.
Shout out to Josh Hartnett. And the Black Dahlia of it all came in. It was something to do with the painting, right? Or
I don't know. I all I know, she had like black hair and dark eyes. That's like and I've seen pictures of her when she was alive and stuff. And yeah, she was cut like pretty much from like the waist, like boom, like just.
someone sawed her in half.
Essentially, yeah. Or you could look. We're not weird here. It could be a saw. It could be a samurai sword. It could be anything. She was samurai sword in half.
Okay, well, here it is. She used to wear black dahlia flowers in her hair, and at the time in 1946, there was a movie called The Blue Dahlia out.
Ooh.
So people called her the Black Dahlia in the neighborhood.
All right, there you
Yeah.
go. That's where it came from.
Ending on a happy note. Stu, what's your favorite mystery of all time besides where your fucking hair went?
Is it the bloop?
Boom!
Is it the bloop?
The bloop, say it's the bloop.
Say the bloop.
Say it. It's the bloop.
It's the bloop.
What's the bloop, Mac?
The bloop is a sound that's recorded underwater.
I believe in Antarctica specifically.
Well, that's what they think exactly. It's the kind of the southern part of our planet, and it lasts actually a long time. I actually have listened to a recording of the bloop. Yeah. And it's like it's deep register, and they don't know where it comes. And if you especially if you speed it up, it actually sounds like bloop.
It does sound like a bloop.
Okay, they think they've already solved what the mystery of the bloop is. And then it's ice breaking.
It's rubbing of ice. Yeah.
It's ice breaking off like big chunks of it from Antarctica
the problem
into the
was-
ocean. And the thing is that sound travels slower in water.
Yep.
So that of course when you speed up the sound, it'll sound like a splash in the water.
See, the problem was in 2002 it was said to be consistent with large marine animals, though it was also said to be consistent with the noise generated by ice quakes.
Yes.
Or a large iceberg scraping the ocean floor.
Yeah, and this was they talked about earthquakes and the release of anything from methane to just oxygen or anything like that, or the fact that it could be a super large
Or the
sea
world's
animal.
biggest whale.
Yeah, there's a super large